Jason mentioned Nicodemus. Jesus said to him, "You've got to be born again." Nicodemus doesn't think he's got to be born again. He's making jokes. Well, surely a man cannot enter his mother's womb a second time. I mean, he's making jokes about it. He doesn't, he's not ready to surrender and give up and say this is the only way.
We, Nicodemus, you cannot be in the light unless you are born again. Being born again, it's a new start. But before you can be born again, you got to realize that where you're at is death. You can't go to the light till you realize that where you at is the darkness. And here's Nicodemus. Nicodemus kind of wants to halfway commit to Jesus, right? I'm going to go to Jesus. I'm going to acknowledge that he's from God. I'm going to acknowledge all his miracles, but I'm going to go to him at night. And I'm going to ask him, how do you get to heaven? But I'm going to ask him because I want him to tell me that I'm doing a good job. And how do these sinners over here what do they need to do to be saved? Nicodemus was kind of half-hearted. Didn't really want to go all the way. Like he said, he didn't know he was dead. And Jesus saying, you need to be born again. You're the one that's in the darkness. And the question you have to answer is, do you want a new life? Because I think sometimes we think that we're pretty good people. All we need to do is just tweak a couple of things in our lives, right? Like, I'm all right. If you could just, Barrett, if you could just fix these two things for me, take out the Bible, fix these two things, then I'll feel like I'm complete. But this is important that I want you guys to hear this. Jesus has no interest in making you a better person. All Jesus wants to do is make you completely new. Not better, new. I want you to think about your room. Okay, your room at your home, all right? How many of you, if given a chance, for free, you'd love to completely redecorate your room at home? I mean, like extreme makeover, king homeroom edition. All right. So let's say you invite Jesus to come out. Even though the carpenter. Let's say you invite Jesus to come out to redo your room. And Jesus is glad to do it. And you tell him, Jesus, this is, Jesus, I trust you. Do whatever you want to my room. Just make it awesome. Make it great. I trust you. And Jesus is like, okay. And he comes in, he goes to your wall, he takes out a picture of your family, smiles. This is one you're missing your front teeth in. He smiles, that's cute, he smiles at you. He sets it carefully on the bed so it doesn't break, then he starts to tear down the wall. Because he's redoing your room, right? And let's say he tears the walls out, tears down the paint, just redoes everything, the carpet, everything, makes it into this beautiful room. Are you happy? Yeah. You're fired up, like, Jesus, this is awesome! Jesus, I couldn't even express anything this great. You are awesome. And Jesus says, thank you. And then he walks down the hall, goes into your bathroom, starts tearing out the counters, ripping up the tiles, taking out the bathtub, reworking everything. You're like, Jesus, what are you doing? What are you doing? I just wanted you to do my room. And then he goes from the bathroom, he goes into the other room, starts tearing down the walls there. And then he really shocks, he goes into the basement, starts digging up the foundation. He's on the roof, he's tearing off, he's going into every room. And he's tearing down every single wall. Anything that's there, he's ripping out, he's replacing it, he's making it great, and at the end of the day, what you asked him to do was a room, and he's tore down the whole house and he's built you a mansion. Do you know why he did that? You know why he built you this mansion? Because he wants to come and live with you there. He does not want to make you better. He's not looking at you, you're good, I'm going to make you a little better. He wants to make you completely new. Completely in the light. Because he loves you and that's where he is. And he wants to be with you.
I tell you, I'm so grateful that Jesus looked at me 15 years ago when I was 16. I was a teenager like you guys, and He looked at me and He said, "You are dead. And I'm gonna make you born new." I'm so grateful He built that mansion. You know, Nicodemus and many people in our world, many people in this room want to be good. We want to be good people. The world will probably even support you when you try to be a good person. They'll probably say, "Oh, you want to be good enough? Good for you." Yeah, but Jesus' love for you is deeper. And He doesn't just want good enough. Good enough isn't good enough for Jesus. Good enough isn't good enough when He loves the way He does. Jesus wants out of darkness and into light for you. Jesus wants not dead, but born again for you. Because honestly, trying to be a good person is the same thing as loving the darkness. When you try to be a good person, and you think, "Hey, you know what, I'm good enough," it's the same thing as loving the darkness. The truth is, anything short of loving the light is the same thing as loving the darkness. There is no gray. It's black and white, Jason. Just like you said. You know, guys, and the truth is that we love you. We do. You know, this means so much to us. We try to love you just like Jesus loves you. We don't get there. We don't succeed. But that's what we want. We want to love you just like Jesus loves you. And we do love you. And we want you to live in the light. And we want you to be born new. Amen.